Lana. This emerald bracelet has been passed down since your grandmother's time. They say it's incredibly precious and rare. Take it for your wedding. With this as part of your dowry, your in-laws definitely won't look down on you. When Mom handed me that emerald bracelet, I knew I'd been reborn. In my past life, I watched helplessly, the pain and despair still vivid, as my parents had someone forcibly drug me and euthanize me. The memory felt so real. I almost couldn't stop myself from throwing the bracelet right in Mom's face. But this time, I couldn't let them off so easily. I wanted them to taste this kind of suffering. Mom, this is too valuable. I can't take it. What kind of wedding is it without a proper dowry? When you go to your in-laws, it's not like at home. A hefty dowry gives you a voice. Your mother-in-law will have to respect you then. She wouldn't dare ignore you. Mom, I've already bought a house for us after the wedding. Having a house as part of my dowry means my in-laws won't look down on me. You just listen to Mom. No one will fault you for that. Mom said, looking at me earnestly. You're my daughter. Surely I wouldn't harm you? When I still stood there motionless, she added, what are you spacing out for? Hurry up, take it and try it on for Mom. To reassure her, so she wouldn't try to find some other twisted way to torture me. I pretended to be delighted and took the bracelet. I turned it over and over in my hands, examining it from every angle, feigning immense joy. Thanks, Mom. Lana. Quick, try it on. This bracelet will look stunning with your delicate, long fingers. It really will. You should wear it every day from now on. Oh, wear it every day, you say? All right, I'll definitely make your wish come true. My sister, Mom, and Dad share no blood relation with me. I'm their adopted daughter. After Mom and Dad got married, they tried actively to conceive, but just couldn't get pregnant. Following some old advice, they adopted me from an orphanage. Unexpectedly, 6 months later, Mom got pregnant and gave birth to my sister. Fortunately, even after my sister was born, Mom and Dad still treated me like their own. They never shortchanged me in any way. After I became an adult, I did my best to provide them with a better standard of living. I just never imagined that to give my sister a pair of slender, delicate fingers, they wouldn't hesitate to turn me into a monster and eventually euthanize me. I knew I wasn't their biological child. But what had I done wrong? Just then, my sister pushed open the door and came in. When she saw the emerald bracelet in my hand, her eyes lit up. Sis, that bracelet looks so exquisite. It would definitely look beautiful on your hand. Not like mine if I wore it. My sister's voice trailed off. I looked at my sister's hands, then at Mom's. Genetics are what they are. You can't just pick and choose. My sister was stunningly beautiful, but her fingers were short and stubby. Even a cat's paws were more delicate. It was kind of cute when she was little, but as she grew up, it became her deepest insecurity to make her fingers even a little longer. She tried almost every method imaginable, even undergoing bone lengthening surgery. Unfortunately, nothing could lengthen her fingers. I, on the other hand, was average looking, but my hands were exceptionally beautiful, long, slender, fair and delicate, like willow branches. So, I became their convenient target. Mom and Dad, seeing her constant distress, sought out famous doctors for her. Eventually, they resorted to dark magic to transfer my fingers to her hands. Mom said thoughtfully, Sadie, your fingers will become just like your sister's, long, slender, with fair, smooth skin, beautiful as jade. A smile spread across Sadie's lips, her deep, bright eyes looking at me with satisfaction. Mom was about to put the bracelet on my hand. I quickly clenched the bracelet and said, Mom, I'll put it on later. I have something at work I need to take care of first. With that, I took the bracelet and left. The moment the door closed behind me, I heard their excited voices from inside. That's great, Mom. My hands are going to be so beautiful. No one will ever make fun of my short, stubby hands again. That bitch is so ugly. Why does she get to have such beautiful hands? Mom, back then, you and Dad should never have adopted her from the orphanage. Every time I see her hands, I get so upset, so miserable I could die. If it weren't for her, My friends wouldn't always be laughing at my hands. Sweetie, if we hadn't adopted her, we might not have been able to have a beautiful daughter like you. Besides, where else would we find such beautiful hands for you now? She still has her uses. Once she's served her purpose, we'll just kick her out. Then Dad came in. I heard him say, "May my darling Sadie's wish come true. Soon you'll have a pair of delicate, slender hands." My sister made no secret of her hostility towards me. I knew she hated me to the core. Mom and Dad were also doing everything they could to help their precious biological daughter. It made me feel completely heartsick. I clenched my fists and sneered. I drove to an aquarium. This aquarium sold marine animals. As long as it wasn't an endangered species, you could buy it. If you didn't want to take it home, you could pay a monthly fee to have it boarded at the aquarium. I immediately paid for an octopus, the one with the longest tentacles, and put the bracelet on one of them. I also instructed the aquarium staff to take good care of it for me. I figured such long, smooth tentacles would surely satisfy my sister's wish to put my family at ease. I had an identical bracelet custom made and wore it on my hand. In the days that followed, whenever I had free time, I'd go to the aquarium to check on the octopus I was boarding there. As long as I saw the bracelet perfectly intact on the octopus, I felt an inexplicable sense of peace. One weekend, the family went camping together. I noticed my sister's hands had grown quite a bit, a good 2 inches longer. I pretended to be surprised. "Sadie, your hands seem to be getting longer and longer, and more beautiful. It's true what they say, a girl changes so much as she grows up. Beautiful face, beautiful hands. It makes your big sister so envious." Sadie stared at her hands, grinning smugly. My fiancé Ethan shamelessly showed up. Ever since I was reborn, I'd broken up with him shortly after, but he kept pestering me every few days, trying to win me back. It was really annoying. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" Mom asked. Ethan immediately dropped to his knees in front of me. "Lana, please don't break up with me." Then he turned, tears streaming down his face, to my mom. "Auntie, please help me talk to Lana. Tell her not to break up with me. I really can't live without her. It's true, you probably couldn't survive without me. You've always lived off me." Mom shot me a look. "What's going on?" I said flatly. "I'm tired of him." Mom quickly helped Ethan up and pulled a stool over for him. Now, what is it that can't be discussed calmly while sitting down? Why the need to kneel?" Ethan sobbed. "Lana, don't break up with me. I can't live without you." Then he hugged Dad. "Uncle, please talk to Lana for me. She'll definitely listen to you." Mom and Dad took turns comforting him. My sister looked at Ethan, then at me confused. "Who's this?" she asked. Mom said, "Your brother-in-law." I could see the shock in Sadie's eyes, as if she were thinking, what a waste of a good-looking guy on her. Yes, I was the cow dung. Only then did Ethan notice my sister sitting nearby. He stopped crying, his eyes lighting up as he looked at Sadie. He'd never looked at me like that. Ethan moved his chair next to Sadie. "You must be Sadie, right? Your sister always said you were gorgeous. Seeing you today, it's absolutely true. A girl as beautiful as you. What kind of man would be worthy enough to marry you?" Sadie was so flattered by Ethan's compliments, she was practically floating. Who wouldn't be thrilled to be praised by someone as good-looking as Ethan? Mom and Dad looked at Sadie with pride. I heard Mom whisper to Dad, "Ethan's looks are more than good enough for our Sadie. If they really have to break up, why not let Ethan get together with Sadie?" Dad chimed in. "I have no objection. It just depends on whether Sadie likes him." I was so busy listening to Mom and Dad that when I turned back, Ethan and Sadie had already left their seats and gone off to admire the flowers. That creep had already forgotten I wanted to break up with him. Ethan was already scanning Sadie's QR code for her socials. I hadn't even turned into a monster in this life yet. "And you're already eyeing my sister like that? Just a little while ago, you were shamelessly begging me not to break up. Now your eyes are practically glued to my sister." Ethan's infatuated look truly disgusted me. Seeing my fiancé constantly praise her, Sadie was so happy she almost danced. She shot me a look of disdain and dissatisfaction, as if to say, how could a nobody like me have such a handsome fiancé? Oh, brother-in-law, please don't praise me so much. My sister. She's so plain-looking. She'll get mad. What's there to be mad about? I'm just telling the truth. Besides, I'm praising her sister, not someone else. If she gets mad about that, she's being too petty. Then she doesn't deserve to be your sister. I almost laughed out loud. Couldn't those two speak a little softer? Every nasty thing they said about me was carried by the wind straight into my ears. I walked over and slapped Ethan across the face. Did you come looking for me just to praise my sister? You're just a freeloader, a pretty boy. What right do you have to call me petty or generous? Ethan's neck turned red with anger, like he'd swallowed a pound of chili peppers. Sadie gasped, clearly startled by my actions. Sis, brother-in-law was just casually complimenting me. Why did you suddenly hit him? Then she leaned in, gently touching Ethan's already swollen, finger-marked cheek, feigning pity. Your face is so handsome, brother. How could sis hit you so hard? Does it hurt, brother? Let Sadie kiss it better. Ethan looked at Sadie and said gently, I'm fine, brother's okay. Did it scare you? Then he turned, glaring fiercely at me. Are you crazy? You're so ugly. And you have such a bad temper. Who else would want you besides me, Ethan? In my past life, I always tolerated you, put up with you. This life, I don't want to wrong myself by waiting on you anymore. Oh, then don't trouble yourself. Let's part on good terms. Break up. With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. My sister's fingers grew longer day by day. In less than a month and a half, they were already like a normal person's. Mom and Dad were ecstatic. They not only boasted about Sadie's good looks to everyone they met, but also praised her beautiful fingers. But Sadie still wasn't happy, especially when she saw me. This unhappiness intensified. One night, I was tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep. I was about to go to the kitchen for something to eat. When I passed my sister's room, the door was ajar. I heard my sister's tearful voice from inside. Why are that bitch's hands still perfectly fine? Weren't we supposed to swap hands after she wore that bracelet? Why haven't her hands become short and stubby yet? I don't care, Mom, Dad. You have to find a way to make that bitch's hands short and stubby. Make her experience the pain of being ridiculed like I was. Dad chimed in from the side. Yeah? How can this be? It's been so long. And her fingers haven't changed at all. Was that Taoist priest a fraud? Mom paused for a moment. Don't worry. The priest definitely wouldn't deceive us. Look, Sadie's fingers have already grown longer, which means it's definitely working. Let's wait and see. If things are still the same after a while, I'll chop off her hands and make soup for you. We brought her back from the orphanage and raised her for so long. We've done more than enough for her. Hearing this, I broke out in a cold sweat. I was the one earning money, supporting the family, giving you a good life. And yet you want my fingers? Besides, my sister's fingers were already normal. And still, you weren't satisfied. I never thought you could be so vicious. Every part of my body was given to me by my biological mother. Your whole family has short, stubby fingers. What does that have to do with me? It's determined by genetics, not something I can control. Why should I have to bear my sister's suffering? And what about me? I'm plain looking, constantly compared to my sister, mocked as an ugly duckling. Who's going to bear that pain for me? Dad exclaimed, heavens. Honey, you can't do that. Our family still depends on her to support us. Mom said nonchalantly. Once our Sadie's hands become slender and long, she can be a world-class hand model. By then, she'll have no value. Besides, a child born to others will never truly be yours. I know that much. Everything is for my Sadie. As long as Sadie is happy, I'm willing to do anything. And if we hadn't been kind enough to adopt her, she wouldn't even know where her next meal was coming from. Now that she's grown up, she has to contribute to this family. Sadie said happily, Mom, Dad, you're the best to me. I'll definitely earn lots and lots of money, make a name for myself, and let you live comfortably for the rest of your lives. I was so shocked I could barely stand. quickly steadying myself against the wall as I made my way to my bedroom. I closed and locked the door. It seemed I couldn't stay in this house any longer. They didn't just want my hands. They wanted my life. I left without saying a word and went straight to the house I had bought myself. Thank goodness I'd always been a good student, getting scholarships all the way. I also worked part-time throughout college and had saved up a good amount of money over the years. I'd bought this house a while ago, originally intending for Ethan and me to live in after we got married. Now it looked like I'd be using it myself. But early the next morning, my mom, not finding me at home, called me. She demanded to know why I had moved into the marital home. I couldn't very well tell her it was to save my life, could I? When I didn't answer, she continued, "You need to move out quickly. Sadie and Ethan are getting married next month, and they'll need to move in then. It's not proper for you to be living there. People will talk. They're getting married?" Sensing I might be upset, Mom explained those two are in love, and begged me to let them be together. I couldn't really refuse. "Lana, look ahead. There are plenty of other opportunities out there." "Well, congratulations to them then." As soon as I said that, Mom immediately retorted, "You're the older sister. You need to act like one. I'm not asking you to pay for your sister's wedding or do all the work. But this house, just give it to your sister as part of her dowry. You can come back and live with Mom and Dad. We can take care of each other. Otherwise, if you're all alone and get sick, there'll be no one to know. Mom, I've contributed a lot to this family over the years. Even if there's no merit, there's hard work. Besides, this is a house I bought with my own money. I have the right to decide what to do with it. I don't need you to make decisions for me." The moment I said that, my mom flew into a rage. "Just listen to yourself. Are those the words of a human being? If we hadn't adopted you, given you a good living environment, would you have the ability to earn money and buy a house now? You're so selfish. You won't even help out your sister a little. You really are an ungrateful stray we picked up. A wild child who can't be tamed. This house you bought, transfer it to your sister. Also, put your assets under my name. I'll manage them for you, to prevent those scheming people from eyeing your property. Oh, and give your sister an extra $6,000 a month for living expenses. Your sister is getting married to Ethan. They won't be living at home then, and they'll need money for everything. With a bit more money, she won't be looked down on by her in-laws. Trying to get something for nothing? You're daydreaming. That's quite a fantasy. Why should the house I worked so hard to buy be handed over to someone else? Ethan. That trash. I don't care for him, so whatever. But a house isn't like some jerk of a man. It won't betray me. Mom, Sadie already has a job. She can support herself. You want me to give her $6,000 a month for living expenses? I can't afford that. If you want to give it to her, you can do it yourself. Besides, I bought the house myself. I don't want to give it to her. As her older sister, isn't it natural to support your younger sister? Besides, you don't have a marriage prospect right now. Keeping the house is useless. A complete waste. You might as well give it to your sister as a dowry. Mom, don't try to guilt trip me. This is my house. I said I'm not giving it, and that's final. You ungrateful brat. Your father and I brought you back from the orphanage, cared for you, raised you, and this is how you treat us. You won't even grant this small request to give the house to your sister? You're such a turncoat. It seemed Mom wouldn't let me off the hook unless I transferred the house to my sister. An idea struck me. Mom, that bracelet you gave me last time. It'll be perfect as a dowry for Sadie. I'll bring it over to you right now. I'm not getting married anytime soon anyway. Mom panicked. No, that won't do at all. The bracelet was given to you, it's yours. How can you take back something you've given away? But the bracelet is just wasted on me. Sadie is getting married next month. She can use it then. Absolutely don't take it off. You must wear that bracelet. It'll keep you safe and sound. Understand? It seemed this emerald bracelet was truly destined for me. Just then, someone knocked on the door. I saw through the security camera that it was Sadie and Ethan standing outside, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. Very close. They kept knocking, clearly knowing I was inside. Strange, why were they here at this time? Annoyed, I opened the door and asked, "What is it?" Sadie spoke first. "Ethan and I came to see the marital home." Then she dangled the diamond ring on her hand, in front of my face. The diamond ring didn't catch my attention, but her fingers seemed to have grown even longer. "Your marital home isn't here. Out the door, turn right. Have a nice walk. Don't let the door hit you on the way out," I said, pushing them both out. How could these two be so shameless? "Lana, Mom said this house is for me and Ethan to live in after we're married. You want it? Then pay up, and the house is yours." Ethan pointed his finger at my nose. "Lana, talking about money just sours things. Sadie is your sister. Her sister is getting married, and you won't even give her a house?" I rolled up my sleeves and advanced on Ethan. "Who do you think you are?" Ethan backed away repeatedly. Sadie stepped in front of him, her voice soft and delicate. "Sis, Ethan and I are getting married next month. It definitely wouldn't be good to keep living at home. You're not getting married, so are you fighting me for this house? Because you're jealous of me? You see, I'm prettier than you, and now my hands are getting more and more beautiful, so you're deliberately making things difficult for me?" She really couldn't stop emphasizing how beautiful her hands were becoming. I said, "I bought this house with my own money. It didn't cost you a penny. What does it have to do with you? How is it that I'm jealous and making things difficult for you?" Sadie softly retreated behind Ethan. "Ethan, sis is so mean. I'm so scared." Then she looked at me pitifully. "Sis, I just want your blessing. For me and Ethan." Ethan said, "Lana, don't be ungrateful when I'm being nice. This house was always meant for Sadie. You'd better hand it over for me and Sadie to use as our marital home. Otherwise, you'll regret it." Looking at their shameless expressions, I almost rolled my eyes out of my head. Truly, birds of a feather flock together. "Fine, since you can't afford to buy it. If you absolutely must have it, I suppose I could rent it to you. Rent is $6,000 a month. You'll have to pay a 6-month deposit up front." Before I could finish, that scumbag Ethan cut in, "Lana, why are you always so materialistic? You ate their food, used their things. This is what you owe them. How dare you ask for money? You should be glad I'm not asking you for money. Yeah, sis, Mom and Dad adopted you from the orphanage, raised you all these years. Shouldn't you show some gratitude? Ethan and I aren't insisting on taking it from you. We just need it temporarily. I've already submitted my modeling portfolio. A modeling agency will contact me soon. Then I'll have an income. When I make it big, I definitely won't forget you." This pair of scumbags really were a perfect match. Their audacity was astounding. I looked at my sister's ever-lengthening hands and said thoughtfully, "Your body proportions are off. You might not be suited for modeling." My words infuriated Sadie so much she pointed at my nose and said, "Sis, you ugly hag. What right do you have to criticize me?" Seeing I wasn't willing to give up the house, Ethan exploded, "Lana, it's because you're ugly and make trouble that you don't deserve my love. Ethan, you freeloader, you pretty boy. What right do you have to talk to me about love?" Ethan was so angry he tried to hit me. I was quicker. I preempted him, and with all my strength, slapped Ethan across the face, hitting him so hard he staggered, barely able to stand. He quickly grabbed Sadie's hand. Just then, Sadie suddenly screamed. Her hand was yanked off by Ethan, and then right where it broke off, a new hand instantly grew back. Only this newly grown hand was long, thin, and smooth, looking just like an octopus tentacle. Sadie was so terrified, she nearly had a mental breakdown and was rushed to the hospital. Doctors from major hospitals held emergency meetings, but couldn't diagnose the cause. Even more problematic, this hand was incredibly soft, boneless. It seemed the longer time passed, her other fingers also began to break off, and then new ones grew back, each one long, thin, and smooth. To prevent the situation from worsening, the doctors ultimately decided to amputate Sadie's hands. Sadie, of course, was the first to refuse. She had been obsessed with her hands her whole life. She decided to have the newly grown hands cut off, hoping to return to normal. But within half an hour of the surgery, the severed hands grew back, and they were even longer, thinner, and smoother than before. Everyone was thoroughly frightened. Sadie cried hysterically. How could this happen? How am I supposed to face anyone like this? Dad was heartbroken, on the verge of tears, repeatedly blaming Mom. Where did you get that stuff? You've ruined our daughter. Mom also mumbled, it's all my fault. All my fault. I heard that Taoist priest was very effective. Never failed. I don't know why this happened. I hid outside the hospital room, laughing heartlessly. Just then, a doctor pushed open the door and went in. We're still investigating the cause of this illness. Currently, there's no effective treatment. Do you want to stay in the hospital for observation, or go home? Sadie had completely broken down. Mom looked at Dad. What should we do? You decide. Dad said, why don't we stay for observation? If anything unexpected happens, we can deal with it quickly. Mom chimed in. Yes, money isn't an issue. If we don't have money, we'll just ask that bitch for it. As long as our baby can be cured. Sure enough, their target shifted back to me. The phone rang, right on cue. It was Mom's voice. Lana, where are you? Sadie needs to stay in the hospital for observation for a while. You go pay the fees and make the arrangements. Mom, you really know how to delegate. Mom, I don't have any money on me. I said into the phone. What do you mean? You've been working for so many years. Your salary is so high. How can you not have money? Mom's voice was trembling with agitation. I explained, sigh. The stock market has been bad lately. All my money is tied up. I've given you guys a lot before. Why don't you use some of that for now? I don't care if you have to borrow it. Just go get the money now. All the money I've earned over the years has basically gone to support the family. Don't you guys have any savings? Where are you? Get your ass over here, now. The hospital room. I reluctantly walked into the room. The moment I opened the door, Dad slapped me. You worthless thing. We never should have adopted you. We raised you all these years. And now your sister is sick. You won't even chip in a little money? This family's thinking was truly bizarre. I looked at them and said, you're not willing to pay either, are you? Otherwise, you wouldn't keep pressuring me. Besides, Ethan is here too. Why don't you ask him for money? Then I turned to Ethan. Ethan, Sadie is your wife. Are you really going to let her forego hospital treatment? Because of a lack of money? Ethan's eyes widened in shock. What does it have to do with me? We're not even married yet. With that, he slipped away. The family stared at each other. Dad said pitifully, Lana, you're Daddy's precious girl. And Sadie is Daddy's precious girl too. Daddy can't bear to see Sadie like this. And do nothing. It's just that Daddy doesn't have the money. See if you can get an advance on your salary from work. I thought for a moment, then pointed to the bracelet on my wrist. Otherwise, I could sell this bracelet. Mom and Dad quickly stopped me. No. This has been passed down from our ancestors. How could we face them if we sold it? Then I really have no other way. I've given you all my savings. My company is having massive layoffs. They can barely make payroll. How could I possibly get an advance? You guys use your money to treat Sadie, and I'll work hard to earn more for you. Money lost can be earned again. But if a person is gone, money is useless. Mom rushed over to hit me. You ungrateful bitch. We should have let you fend for yourself back then. Such a foul mouth. You just don't know how to speak. Let me teach you a lesson. I stared at her coldly, raising my hand to block her slap. She lost her balance and fell straight to the ground. Anyway, I'm not paying. What can you do about it? Bitch, you dare hit. Mom. This is outright rebellion. My sister slapped me. It felt soft and weak, almost powerless. I guess that's what an octopus tentacle hand feels like. Dad helped Mom up, then slapped me twice more. They looked like they wanted to beat me to death, to throw me into the sea to feed the fish. This kind of family. I finally saw them clearly at this moment. There was no need to get entangled with them any further. Dad and the others still wanted to gang up on me. Just as a nurse came in with medication, I quickly plopped down on the floor and wailed dramatically, Mom, Dad, please stop hitting me. I've given you all my money. I really don't have any more. Please let me go. Don't tell me to die. The nurse saw the red marks on my face and my hysterical crying, and said if they continued, she would call the police. The moment they heard call the police, they panicked. Mom quickly pulled me up from the floor. I kept wailing, Mom, Dad, please don't tell me to die, okay? All the money I've earned these years has gone into your pockets. I haven't kept a single cent for myself. Supporting this family. I'm so tired. But I never complain. I know you adopted me from an orphanage. I should be grateful. And I've always put you first in everything. No matter how unreasonable your demands. I've always met them. But I really have no money left. Even if you force me to die, I still don't have any money. My cries attracted the attention of people from other rooms. They all crowded around the doorway, looking in, speaking up for me, and cursing my parents. Absolutely shameless. Other people's children aren't children. Only your own child is a child? So shameless. How can you still make such demands? Mom and Dad were speechless, staring at me with hatred, as if they wanted to crush me and swallow me whole. Sadie looked at me resentfully, reaching out her right hand to grab the water cup on the table. She realized both her hands had turned into octopus-like tentacles. She was so scared she could only scream, "Ah, ah." Dad quickly called a doctor over. The doctor looked and just kept shaking his head. And so Sadie was discharged after a few days. On the day of her discharge, she wore long sleeves, her hands shoved deep into her pockets, refusing to take them out. I thought it was because they couldn't afford it that she had to leave. But it turned out the doctor had told her to go home and wait for test results. After Sadie quit her job, she stayed at home for a while. With nothing to do, she started live streaming. Her face was truly captivating. In less than half an hour, her stream shot to the top of the charts. Many wealthy viewers sent her rocket gifts. From then on, whenever she streamed, millions of people watched. Such a massive fan base attracted the attention of some companies. They urgently needed Sadie to help promote their products and signed live streaming endorsement contracts with her. Seeing this, Mom threatened suicide to force me to quit my job and become Sadie's dedicated hand double. Whenever Sadie was live streaming a product, I had to come out and be the hand model, the kind that couldn't show her face. One day, a jewelry company, taken by Sadie's beauty, wanted to invite her to endorse a line of their jewelry. This company was the same one I had worked part-time for during college. The boss was a greasy man in his 50s, with a particular fondness for beautiful women. The reason I was able to work as a hand model at this company was because I was plain enough not to attract the boss's attention. But with Sadie's stunning looks, she probably wouldn't escape the boss's wandering hands. Sure enough, the boss asked to meet Sadie in person to sign the contract. Sadie was initially very reluctant, but the terms offered by the boss were very attractive. So Mom and Dad demanded I go with Sadie, as her representative, to protect her if any problems arose. The moment the boss saw Sadie, his eyes lit up. He extended his hand to Sadie. Sadie glanced at it and said, "Sorry. I have severe OCD. I generally don't shake hands with people." The boss smiled at Sadie. "A beauty with OCD. Understandable. Please sit." The boss took out the contract and placed it in front of Sadie. Sadie gestured to me with her eyes, telling me to sign it for her. I flipped through the contract while showing it to her. When she saw the contract price was $1.3 million, her beautiful eyes almost popped out of their sockets. She nudged me with her elbow. "Sign it quickly." After I signed, the boss looked at Sadie again with a lecherous grin. "My new beauty. I'll send you the shooting location and time. See you then, don't be late." After the boss left, I kindly reminded Sadie, "This boss is a total creep. You'd better be careful not to let yourself be taken advantage of." Sadie looked at me impatiently. "You're just ugly yourself. So you see everyone through a distorted lens. Fine, I'd better just shut up. Anyway, in this life or the last, they would never treat me as family. Only try to get me killed. Why should I bother worrying about it? It had nothing to do with me." Sadie added, "From now on, you'll be my free assistant. On call 24/7. Consider it repaying Mom and Dad for adopting you. You don't have to be on camera, but you still have to be my hands." I looked at her, almost bursting into laughter. I thought to myself, my dear sister, if you accidentally show your hands, will you scare people to death? Soon, the day of the jewelry photoshoot arrived. The sleazy boss didn't come. Instead, a few young photographers and staff members showed up. They seemed quite nice. Easy to talk to. Sadie signaled me to give each of them a $1,000 tip. They all thanked Sadie profusely. Sadie said sweetly, "Hello everyone. My hand happened to get injured last night. Later, if we need to shoot bracelets or rings, please let my sister do it for me." Could it really work like that? Clearly, the staff were also quite speechless. Just as they were about to refuse, Sadie told me to show them my hands. I obediently held them out. To their shock, plain-looking me actually had a pair of exquisite hands. Those people looked at my hands and said, "Wow, these hands are too beautiful. They're practically divine." When Sadie heard that, her face turned green with anger. She plopped down directly onto the nearby sofa. The sleazy boss, seeing Sadie sitting alone on the sofa, bent down, put his arm around her shoulder, and tried to kiss her face with his pig-like mouth. Sadie turned her head, looking at his disgusting face, and unable to hold back, pulled her hands out of her pockets. It scared the boss so much he almost lost his soul. Scrambling away, the boss pointed at Sadie and screamed, "Ah, a monster! I knew this day would finally come." Sadie's hands were completely exposed. Everyone was terrified. She wanted to explain, but ended up being sent to the hospital again, because her hands had grown so long they were dragging on the floor. Mom and Dad rushed to the hospital, looking at Sadie on the bed, heartbroken. Suddenly, Mom lunged at me, grabbing my neck. Her eyes bloodshot. "You bitch, how are you still fine? How are you not dead yet? What did you do to Sadie?" Dad also rushed over, kicking me hard in the stomach several times. I was kicked so hard I almost vomited blood. Sadie, lying on the hospital bed, shrieked, "That bitch! Didn't she wear the bracelet? How can this still be happening?" She told Mom to move aside, reached out, and forcefully choked me. I couldn't breathe at all. Keep in mind, she had 16 hands. Maybe heaven didn't want me to leave, so it created a chance for me to live. Just then, the police pushed open the door. They were also terrified by the sight. They pointed their guns at Sadie, telling her to stop. Sadie reluctantly released her grip in front of the police. Mom quickly said, Officer, don't point your gun at my child, she'll be scared." Seeing Sadie release her grip and slump back onto the bed as if deflated, the police holstered their guns. They were there to understand the situation, because the sleazy boss had been scared out of his wits by Sadie and admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Sadie briefly explained what happened on the day of the photo shoot. The police took her statement, but as they looked at Sadie's bewitching face, and then at her monstrous hands, a look of fear crossed their faces. Out of professional courtesy, they didn't let their fear show. That's all for the statement for now. Please keep your phone on. If we need further cooperation, please cooperate actively. The police were about to leave when I took a deep breath, leaned down to Sadie and said, "This bracelet is quite nice. Do you like it too? I'll buy you one another day. I got this one custom made online for $9.99. Mom said in disbelief, "You white-eyed wolf. What about the bracelet I gave you?" I took out my phone, opened the photo of the octopus I was raising, and showed it to them. "It's on her." Sadie went berserk. "You bitch. You dare to harm me." Mom and Dad pointed at me and chimed in, Officer, this person harmed my precious daughter and made her like this. You must arrest her. Send her for execution." I wanted them to taste this kind of suffering, but her octopus-like hands were too slippery. She lost her grip and one slammed down, hitting Dad square on the head. Dad instantly collapsed, lying on the ground, bleeding profusely. There were tears in Dad's eyes as he looked at Sadie. She clutched her head, in too much pain to speak. Mom knelt beside Dad, screaming at me hysterically, "You bitch. We never should have adopted you. You've ruined our family." And my sister. She knelt before Dad, her hands constantly stroking his head, until they were all covered in blood. Watching this scene, I smiled. The moment you thought of giving me that bracelet again, You should have expected this outcome. Later, Mom hired people to kidnap me, intending to kill me and dump my body. Fortunately, I had a backup plan and managed to protect myself. I submitted all the evidence to the police. Mom was locked up, with no release date in sight. As for Sadie, her hands grew longer and longer. When she heard Mom was incarcerated, she completely lost it and was detained by the police in a mental hospital, under constant watch. But in her madness, she ate random things, eventually died of poisoning despite rescue efforts. And I started my new life. The end.